So much ADHD advice is about managing symptoms, being more productive, and basically making us function sufficiently in a world that seems designed to suck all the joy out of life, at least most of the time. But that's boring as hell, right? ADHD brains are wired for curiosity, creativity, and fun. So, in today's episode of ADHD Adultish, instead of telling you how to get more adultish stuff done, I'm sharing some of my favorite activities, ideas, and tools that let me cut my ADHD brain loose and go a little wild. Things that can let you indulge your interests, embrace your curiosity, and just generally enjoy your weird little brain. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Kim Spangler, an ADHD coach and a firm believer in the idea that sometimes it's good to stop pretending to be a productivity machine and just lean into what makes you happy. And P.S., don't worry about remembering all of the things I'm going to mention in this episode. You'll be able to find links to all of them on my blog. Now let's go. How many of you had hobbies or interests that you've given up over the years, either because they were seen as immature or a waste of time, or because you felt like you didn't deserve time to do the things you like because you weren't getting enough adulty work done? Today, I urge you to say, screw that. No more. If you love playing with Legos, collecting shiny rocks, or hyper-focusing on some super niche topic that most people have never heard of, do it. If you've listened to past episodes, you've heard me talk about one of my favorite ADHD indulgences, Dungeons & Dragons, or tabletop role-playing games in general, because there are many of them out there. TTRPGs, as they are referred to, are, to me, the ultimate ADHD playground. You get to be creative, you get to improvise, you get to solve problems in the weirdest ways you can come up with, and if you feel so inclined, you can cause absolute chaos. Want to lean into the dark and twisty side of your brain? There's a tabletop role-playing game for that. Want to play a druid who turns into animals? A wizard who throws fireballs no matter how big the room is? A rogue with an unhinged backstory? A fairy barbarian who sparkles when she rages? It's all fair game. And also, rolling dice is really satisfying. My husband often wonders why I need so many sets of dice, and I don't know the answer to that question, but I do need them. If that sounds like fun, but you have no idea where to start, look for local comic and game stores. They often run games that anyone can join. If that's not your cup of tea, though, and nothing else immediately comes to mind, consider the stuff you liked to do when you were a kid. Doesn't necessarily have to be something nerdy like mine is. Did you like playing sports, going to theater camp, writing poems, dancing, singing? Whatever you think of, find some way to give it a try again, and give yourself permission to really do it. Unless it's something illegal, please don't do that. But otherwise, go forth and have fun, no matter what other people may think, because the people that might judge you are either jealous you're having fun or they're just boring, either of which is just kind of sad. And tell me what it is you're doing. I would love to know what awesome things that you all are out there enjoying. One of the downsides to trying new hobbies is that it's easy to get overwhelmed by all the stuff you need to get started. Now, I'm not a crafty person, but there are many people with ADHD who are. So if you are one who tends to get stuck in the gathering materials stage of starting a new hobby, let me introduce you to hobby boxes. There are so many great ones out there. There is a site called Cratejoy that has just a ton of options. And generally speaking, of course, you can just Google hobby boxes and you'll probably find some cool things. I'm going to mention a few specific ones that I will link in the blog post, but here's why these are great for people with ADHD. Because they give you everything you need in one box to try a thing. So you don't have an endless supply list. There's no never-ending YouTube searches, no decision fatigue. It just shows up to your door and you do it and then it's done. It's a great option for people with ADHD who burn out on hobbies fast because you get to try something new without committing your entire bank account or ending up with a closet overflowing with supplies that you won't ever use again. Some of the cool crates that I have seen on Cratejoy include the Adults and Crafts crate, which is a great name. This touts itself as like HelloFresh, but for DIY craft projects. Every month is a different craft to allow you to learn new craft techniques like wood burning and engraving. If you like solving weird challenges but don't want to leave your house, you might like the Scarlet Envelope Secret Society subscription box, which sends you a monthly adventure through time and space, with each envelope holding a puzzle mystery in a new universe, from catching serial killers in the 50s to art heists and sci-fi crimes. For those with a green thumb, which by the way does not include me, There's the My Garden box, which contains everything you need for monthly garden projects. That includes live plants, visually illustrated instructions, and properly portioned ingredients. So again, all of those links can be found in my blog post, but also just whatever kind of craft thing that you can think of that you might be interested in. Before you go start buying stuff and researching, see if there's a hobby box that you can try first. Next up, let's talk about sensory tools and how they can be game changers for ADHD brains. Engaging our senses can help with self-regulation and focus, and for many people with ADHD, sensory input like touch, movement, or sound provides the necessary stimulation to maintain attention and manage impulsivity. Incorporating sensory strategies can help in reducing restlessness and enhancing concentration. Plus, they can be fun and just feel comforting. Some tools that I like: fidget toys, but the good ones, not the cheap plastic junk, but stuff that's actually satisfying. A few of my personal favorites are infinity cubes, squishy stress balls, like the heavy-duty ones that will not break in 3 seconds, and metal spinny things. One of my kiddos has a fidget obsession and asked for these metal Avengers-inspired fidgets for Christmas, and they are really freaking cool. There's also texture-based dopamine, like weighted blankets, ridiculously soft hoodies, and kinetic sand, which is amazing. Things like weighted blankets are shown to reduce anxiety and improve sleep as well. They provide a calming effect through gentle pressure. Then there's the ASMR and oddly satisfying things throughout YouTube videos of soap cutting, slime videos, watching things get crushed in a hydraulic press. Instant brain satisfaction. I really can't explain why these things are just so satisfying to watch, but they are. Now, next I want to talk about what I like to call falling down the rabbit hole. Have you ever stayed up until 3 a.m. researching some super random thing that suddenly caught your attention? While that's probably not the ideal time to do it, I think there's a ton of benefit in intentionally letting your brain run wild with thoughts and ideas, or just go ham learning about a topic that you have no practical need to know. Because realistically, not letting your brain do it is probably not stopping it from doing it anyway. And unfortunately, we can end up feeling a lot of guilt and shame because we're probably supposed to be doing something else when that inevitably happens. Maybe it wasn't researching something random. Maybe it was daydreaming or binging a new podcast. Maybe it was writing the introduction to a book you're definitely never going to finish. Our brains are busy, like super busy, and it's been my experience that spending all of your time trying to push the busyness back is exhausting and ineffective. What has been helpful, though, is letting the thoughts run amok at an appropriate time. And by appropriate, I mean not during a work meeting, but during a time where you've just carved out a bit of space, or just a moment where you found yourself with no other immediate demands and have some time. Here are some ways that I do this. One of my favorites is going for a walk and listening to a really engaging podcast. Two of my favorites are Behind the Bastards. If you want to hyperfixate on history's biggest assholes, this is the podcast for you. Another one is You're Wrong About. Ever realize everything you knew about a topic was completely wrong? This podcast exists to fix that. Another thing that I like to do is to take a nice long bath or a shower and let my brain kind of follow all of the thoughts that randomly pop into my head. Memories, ideas, hopes, dreams, fears, everything. Whatever is taking up space up there, I give it a little bit of time and just see where it's going to go. Sitting and waiting for a doctor's appointment? Time to do research on medieval sword fighting or the evolution of the platypus. A few tools that might be of use when you're following these rabbit holes. For random research, there's obviously Wikipedia, but that's not always reliable or sufficient. So try Wolfram Alpha, which is like a search engine on steroids. It gives you instant, highly detailed answers to complex questions and is particularly good for math, science, historical stats, and just random deep dive knowledge. There's also Google Scholar, which is a search engine just for academic research. So if you want peer-reviewed papers, historical studies, or breakdowns on really niche topics, it's a good starting place. Do you have 47 tabs open in your browser because you wanted to read that thing, but you don't have time to do it now, and if you close the tab, you'll never find it again? That was a trick question. Of course you do. Don't we all? The good news is there are some apps for that. Pocket and Instapaper are apps that let you save articles, blog posts, and web pages for later, stripping out distractions like ads and formatting them into clean, easy-to-read layouts. You can save them to Pocket with one click, and you'll only ever have one place to look when you have free time to kill and can't remember anything that you ever wanted to read about. These are great for flights and those doctor's office waiting rooms I mentioned earlier. You can even read offline. Other cool apps that can feed the curiosity monster include CuriosityStream, which is a fairly inexpensive streaming service that boasts thousands of documentaries. Brilliant, which is an interactive learning website with like more than 60 different courses in math, programming, data analysis, computer science, and more. There is a limited free option for that one, and then there is a monthly or annual premium subscription as well. Then there is Blinkist, which this is another paid app, but it offers summaries of nonfiction books and podcasts in the form of audio or text. So that's pretty cool. So here's my takeaway for today. ADHD isn't just about struggles and fixing things. Our brains are wired to be interested in the world around us. We are here for the curiosity, the creativity, the randomness. So instead of trying to constantly force ourselves to be more productive, take some time to just enjoy it. Play, indulge your weird hobbies, let yourself fall down research rabbit holes, and probably, go buy yourself some dice. I don't know. If you want to check out any of the things I mentioned today, head to levelupmyadhd.com for a full list of everything mentioned here. I will put a link to it in the show notes so it's easy to find, or you can find it on my blog. And don't forget to let me know, what is the most random, interesting thing that you have ever hyperfocused on? Email me at kim@levelupmyadhd.com and tell me what it was and what weird thing you learned. Fun facts are my favorite thing. Until next time, thanks for hanging out today. Go have some fun.